Okay, so this is June 18th, 10 o'clock Pilates Zoom class. We're focusing today on pelvic stability, so working on creating a bit of strength around the pelvis lower back area, and so that we can move our hips well and just find good connections to our low tummy muscles. So if we're going to start, everybody's going to lie on their back. If you need a little support under your head, go ahead and support yourself as you normally would in class. We're going to have our knees bent up and our feet flat down and legs completely together today. And just to start, we want to just feel a little bit, just in case you're ever not sure about feeling your abdominals or if you're feeling it correctly, we're just going to do a little prep today. So with your two fingertips, find the 2 points, the little bones at the front of your pelvis, and give yourself a little prod. So I'm going to call them your sort of frontal hip points. Now walk your fingers in about 1 inch towards your navel from those hip points. And just with one finger, keep your tummy muscles really relaxed and just give yourself a strong poke with your fingers. Just relax your belly and just give yourself a little prod. Now, when the abdominals are relaxed and you're lying on your back like this, your tummy should just feel really sort of squashy, like there's no resistance. It shouldn't hurt, it should just feel like sort of squashy tummy. Okay, now if you keep your fingers poking in at that place and just do a little fake cough, so just kind of do a sort of cough or a sort of pretend you're coughing or jerking, and you'll feel when you cough there's an auto sort of switch on of those deep stabilizing muscles, and you'll feel your tummy sort of tone suddenly come into play when you cough. And those are the sort of deeper tummy muscles that we're trying to feel. Okay, now try and deliberately engage those muscles by gently pulling your tummy muscles in and up as if you've got a sort of little corset on. And you should feel when you pull your tummy in and up, or you think of pulling your two hip bones towards each other and up, you should feel under your fingertips the tone change, like now there's a bit more firmness. And then if you relax your belly, you should go back to squashy tummy again. Okay, now we all have different amounts of padding on top of our muscles, okay, and that's normal and healthy. So you should feel, obviously you'll have a bit of padding on top of the muscles, but try and poke your fingers through that and see if you can feel that again. So when you're relaxed, your tummy's just going to feel squashy. And when you try and engage those deep transverse abdominals, they're called, you'll feel the tone change, like a belt of elastic around your waist, we're going to call it, okay? So keep trying to feel that. Now, if you breathe out and feel those muscles, you'll feel maybe a little more certain or a more stronger sense. Okay, good. Now, place your hands on your hip points again. We're going to do the knee fall out, which is a very simple exercise, and we're going to keep our pelvis dead still. Okay, so find your deep tummy muscles and just gently allow one knee to drop out to the side. And then gently breathe out and return it back. Same leg. We're going to inhale, drop the knee out. And we're going to exhale, deep abs, pull the knee back. Okay, the objective is to keep our pelvis absolutely still. These bones are not moving. We're using our deep abdominals to stabilize us. And we're teaching our brain how to just move this right hip on its own. And then return it back. Okay, we can do the same on the left leg. So deep abdominals allow the left leg to drop out to the side. And then breathe out and return it back. Inhale, drop out. Try and feel in your mind, in your body, those deep tummy muscles deepening in and up as you bring your leg back. Let's go 2 more on this leg. Keeping really stable in our pelvis and lower back. Breathe out and return. Let's do a final one on this left side. Inhale out. And exhale, return back. Good. Now we're going to take our right leg to tabletop and let my shin relax. So my knee is on top of my hip. It's like a straight line, my thigh bone. And I'm going to circle my knee around, keeping my fingers on my pelvis, trying to keep really stable. Okay. You're going to need those deep tummy muscles to keep the pelvis from rocking around. Let's reverse. And this little prep exercise will become the single leg circle with the straight leg when we do the full exercise. This is just trying to teach us to keep stable. Good. Let's put that right leg down, take the left leg. So the knee is over the hip. I'm going to relax my shin and my foot and just have my long thigh bone up to the ceiling. Now find those deep tummy muscles, tall spine, and I'm going to circle my knee and try and keep absolutely stable pelvis. There's no rocking side to side. I'm trying to keep my tummy muscles in and up. Reverse. This is a really simple, gentle exercise, but it just sets up for the more complicated exercises that come later. Okay, now we're going to put our foot down. Now we're going to do some tabletop, coming to double tabletop. So we want to really use our abs to support us here. We're going to take one leg to tabletop and pause. And I'm going to try and really feel good, strong connections to my lower tummy muscles. And I'm going to carefully pick up my second leg and hold myself in tabletop. My spine is long, my shins are trying to stay parallel to the floor. Hold myself there for a while, and then bring my feet down carefully without letting my back arch. Down and down. We're going to just do simple a few times. So take one leg up. Now really feel your low tummy muscles drawing in and up. Calmly float up the second leg. Hold yourself here. There should be no strain in the back muscles. And then bring yourself down, one, and down two. And remember, if this feels too much or you feel your back a little bit, you can do singles instead. One leg, strong tummy, second leg. Now keep yourself in tabletop if you're feeling okay here. Bring your hands onto the front of your thighs, and we're going to push our hands into our thighs into our hands. So breathe out, press, hands to thighs, thighs to hands. Scoop in that low belly, breathe. And you'll feel a little bit of sort of shakiness in those deep core muscles again. Hold for another little breath. And then we're going to bring our hands onto our shins and just hug your knees in and take a break. And just do a little rock here. So rock the lower back, let the pelvis tip, and just take a little stretch. And then we're going to bring our feet down to the floor, one and two. And we're going to bring our hands behind our head for an abdominal curl up. So just a basic chest lift, this is called. Elbows in my peripheral vision, fingertips interlaced behind my head. I'm going to breathe out and curl my head and chest up. And I'm going to be looking over my knees. And then I'm going to lengthen my spine back down. Now keep a little pressure with your feet into the mat. As you curl up, try to keep the pelvis still. So we're trying to avoid a little, sometimes the pelvis wants to tuck. Try and keep the tailbone down. And up. We're going to do it one more time. So breathe out, curl the chest up. Now we're going to add on, reach the arms along, grab your legs and use your arms to curl yourself a little bit taller off the mat. Keep breathing. Now you'll be feeling your abdominal muscles in this position a little more intensely. Keep breathing. See if you can keep your spine in this shape. Let go and reach your arms along. Hold for another little breath here. Now we're going to see if we can not move our spine but float our arms up to the ceiling, try and grow a little taller. Hands behind the head and then rest the head down. We're going to repeat that one more time. So breathe out, curl the chest up. Reach the arms long, grab, improve, curl a little taller. Reach long, hold, breathe. Reach for the ceiling, hands behind the head and then down. Good. Now we're going to progress to the Pilates 100. Remember, do the version of this that's right for you this morning. So feet down is one option if you're new to Pilates or you have any back or hip issues. Otherwise, we can go tabletop or straight. So let's curl up as we practiced before. So curl up, one, reach the arms, get a little, improve your position. So you're in a nice abdominal curl up. Now we're going to progress into our 100. So reach the arms long. If you're fit and healthy, take them up to tabletop, hug the heels, and we're going to pump our arms. Breathe in and breathe out. If you're fit and healthy, you can straighten your legs if that's what you usually do and you're strong enough to keep your legs straight. And breathing out. Breathe in and out. If your neck is a bit sore, just put your head down for a while, keep breathing, keep pumping, just try and hold yourself here in tabletop. That's still working your tummy, keep the breaths going. We'll do one more time, breathing in And then breathing all the air out. Good, and then hug the knees into your chest, rest your head down, take a little break, rock around a little bit. I'm just letting someone into the meeting who's a little bit late, there we go. Okay, have a little stretch and then rock up to sitting up. Okay, so come up sitting, we're going to go into our half roll back, so knees are going to be bent, we're going to reach our arms out in front of us. Now try and find those same deep tummy muscles that we poked right at the beginning. You're going to curl your tail under and try and round the lower back. So your back is in a long C curve position and you're trying to really feel those deep tummy muscles be poked, okay? Now, we're going to round our spine backwards halfway to the floor. And then we're going to breathe out and we're going to round our spine forward. Good, and again, inhale halfway back. And exhale, come forward. We can do this one more time. The half roll back, this is called. Halfway back. And then breathe and sit up. Okay, take a moment, rest. We're going to repeat that. If you normally do the full roll up in class, and that's an exercise you do in your Pilates practice, straighten your legs and go for full roll ups. Otherwise, repeat the half roll back. Okay, so I'm going to do the full roll up today so it's on the video, but you can do half roll back again. So when you're ready, you're going to round down, keep breathing, try and lower your spine down nicely with control until you're lying on your back. Reach the arms over the head, and as you come up, you're going to lift up, look at your toes, breathe out and bring yourself up to sitting up. And again, keep moving, doing the exercise that's appropriate for you this morning, either the half roll back or progressing to your full roll up. And then bringing the arms up, breathe, curl up, bring yourself up. Okay, we're going to do one more time of whichever version you're practicing. Nice and smooth, try not to hold your breath. And then nice and calm, breathe, curl up, bring yourself up to sitting. Okay, shift your hips forward, we're going to roll like a ball. If you were just doing the half roll back in the previous exercise, hold behind your knees and use this position as a good option, heels together, shoulders relaxed. If you were doing the full roll up and you have good flexibility in your spine, pull your heels in and grab your shins and make your ball tiny and small. Okay, so we're going to roll like a ball. Initiate from your deep tummy muscles. You're going to scoop the belly in and roll back to the shoulders and then back to the tail, balance. Try and scoop from the tummy, roll back, hips up and then hips back, balance. Two more times, keep the control, not too much wobbling between and breathe in, balance. Last one, roll back, hips up. And roll back, hips down. Take a little pause. We're going to rest our feet down, shift back a little bit. We're going to round back to the mat. So take out your arms, reach your arms rather, and round your spine one more time and just roll down with control. Try and almost pause on the bit that's the most challenging and see if you can find a bit more deep abs. Hold yourself there, maybe a little further. If you find this challenging, use your arms on your legs for more support. You're lowering with control, you're not falling, and you're going to bring yourself down to lying on your back. Bring the feet in, we're going to go into our single leg stretch. Remember, you can do this with your head down if you have any neck problems, okay? So let's fold our legs up one at a time to tabletop. We're going to breathe out, curl our head and chest up, hands up, two hands on one shin, other leg out. Now, to stretch your hip, keep your tailbone on the floor and pull your thigh into you, into a hip stretch. And then we're going to pull, switch, pull, switch, pull, switch. Keep the tummy muscles in and up, keep breathing. Try and be a little taller. And switch. Let's do 4 more times. And breathe. 2, 3, last one, 4. Hug your knees into your chest. Rest your head down. Okay, bring the feet down to the floor and we're going to interlace our hands behind our head and do a little crisscross preparation to start with. Okay, so before we even lift our head up, we're trying to find those deep tummy muscles again. We're going to try to keep our pelvis stable in this exercise. Breathe out, curl your chest up, look over your knees. Now try and feel those tummy muscles again. Pelvis is level and solid. We're going to take our right leg to tabletop. Nothing else has moved. We're going to keep the right leg and pelvis really still and slowly bring your left shoulder a couple of inches towards your right knee. So you're looking slightly out. This is adding a little twist into your upper body. Bring yourself back to center. Place the foot down. Rest your head down. Side two, we're going to breathe out, curl the chest up. Float up the left leg. Keep the pelvis stable as you draw your right shoulder to left knee. So I'm keeping my right hip down and it's just the upper body twisting. Bring yourself back. Rest your foot. Rest your head. Okay, we're going to repeat this. So breathe out, curl the chest up. Stable pelvis, deep tummy muscles. Float up your right leg. Now, without shifting the pelvis, bring your left shoulder towards your right knee and pause. Pull in a little deeper to your low tummy muscles and we're going to do 3 pulses. Tiny bit further, breathe out. Tiny bit further, breathe out. Tiny bit further, breathe out. Bring your head down and your foot down. Take a moment to break. Last time, breathe out, curl the chest up. Deep tummy muscles, float up left leg. And we're going to do a cross, keeping the pelvis still. 3 pulses, breathe out 1. Breathe out 2. Breathe out 3. And bring your head down and your foot down. Now we're going to put it all together one last time into the full crisscross. So when you're ready, you're going to breathe out and curl up your chest one last time. We're going to draw our tummy muscles in deeply and pick up your legs one at a time. So we tap 2 in tabletop. Nice and calm. Now keep the pelvis still and you're going to rotate one shoulder to opposite knee and let the other leg reach out. We're going to breathe nice and slow. Breathe out, twist to the other side. And breathe out and twist. Don't rock. Try not to use momentum and rock about. Try and go nice and slow and controlled, keeping the pelvis stable as you move everything else. One more time each side. Breathe. And breathe. And then come back in. Good. Okay, rest your feet down and just take a stretch and just enjoy a little stretch. Breathe in and out and just really stretch out for a couple of little moments. Flex, point your feet, give your wrists a little twiddle around. We're going to come up to sitting. If you normally do a roll up, reach your arms up and do a roll up. If you're not yet doing roll ups, hug your knees into your chest, take a stretch, and then you can rock up to sitting up. Okay, so for spine stretch forward, you might want to sit on a little block or a pillow if you need it. Take your legs a bit wider than your mat. Okay, we want to check that we can sit up in our lower back in this position and not be in a bit of a slouch. So pull yourself up, pull your tummy in, try and get more lift in your waist. Flex your feet, be as tall as you can be. Reach out your arms. We're going to breathe in and try and make more space in your waist. Try and lift your spine a little taller. And as you breathe out, nod your head, round your spine and reach and stretch forward. And the further you reach forward, the more you want to pull your abdominals back in opposition. And then roll back up, lower back, middle back, upper back, back of head. Imagine there's a wall behind you. Breathe in, grow tall. And breathe out, nod the head, round the upper back, middle back, lower back. Keep stretching and reaching forward. Keep flexing your toes and stretch your back forward. And then roll back up, lower back, middle back, upper back, sit tall. We're going to do it one more time. Lift the spine tall as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, round. Try and feel articulation, like each little part of the spine is like a little chunk on a bike chain, chink in a bicycle chain, and you're trying to get a nice round, stretched out back. Pull the toes back, and then you're going to roll back up to sit tall. Good. Now keep sitting tall and take your arms out to the side. We're going to start with a twist. Okay, now keep your legs pressing down and still and just twist your upper body and then face forward and twist the other way. Keep an eye on your legs and try to not let the legs shift. So the pelvis and legs are concreted into the floor and the upper body's doing the twist. Okay, now go to side one. You're going to take your opposite arm across and you're going to reach towards your opposite little toe. Round and dive forward and reach and saw off your little toe. 1, you're going to do 3 saws, 2, 3, and then roll up and then come to center. Lift and twist the other way. Dive and reach forward for 3 saws. 1, 2, 3. Roll the spine up, unwind. We're going to do it one more time each side. Lift and rotate, round and reach. 1, 2, 3. Roll the spine up. Last time. Lift and twist, dive forward. 1, 2, 3, and roll up and unwind and relax. Now, at the end of that, if you felt that your hip flexors are really gripping after sitting here for a while, you might find it more comfortable to sit on a block next time you try that because it's a bit easier on the hips, okay? What we want to feel is we've really moved our spine in all those exercises and got lots of movement in our back without too much hip grip. Okay, let's come around to lying on our front for our swan preparation. So come around to lying on your tummy. We're going to just do the basic one that I usually teach as a sort of basic first one. So my legs are out long. I'm going to place my hands at the sides of my shoulders and my elbows are pointing back. Nose is hovering. And then the first thing I'm going to think of doing is just trying to find a little bit of lift through my tummy. And when you get your abdominals a bit more lifted, the lower back is longer. Okay, so if you relax your belly, you'll probably have a bit more curve in your lower back and maybe a bit of a gap under your hips. And if you lift the tummy and slightly reach the pubic bone down, your lower back should feel longer and no tightness in those muscles. Okay, so make sure you start from a good place. Now grow tall, lightly roll back the shoulders, and as you breathe in, lift your chest and start to extend your upper back and look out in front of you. And then lower back down to face hovering, okay? Prioritize getting taller. So what we want really from our Pilates practice is to keep the length in our spine. And if you can curl up, that's a bonus, but really getting tall is the number one, keeping the length and lowering down. Now, if you're doing this and noticing your lower back is a bit grippy, check your pelvis, keep your tummy lifted. And when you repeat it, you almost want to feel as if you're slightly reaching your pubic bone down, keeping the abdominals lightly lifted, and that should help you stay out of your lower back. And then come down. Good. We're going to slide our hands under our forehead and rest our head. And we're going to just lift one straight leg off the mat and down. So simple, just lifting a straight leg up. Now I'm keeping my groin down, so you're keeping the front of your hip down, and then you should feel your buttocks and your hamstrings engage. Your lower back shouldn't be grippy. Okay, and then try it on the other leg. Now you might not be able to lift your leg very high. This is going to depend on how flexible that hip is, and everybody's body is different, remember. So if it's only an inch off the floor, it's only an inch, but you're still getting your muscles working. Now, I'm going to give you 2 options. If you feel this is a challenge for you doing this single leg extension, stay with singles 4 times on each side again. If you're managing that and your back's happy, try and do both legs up in the air. And then we're going to do one at a time legs. Right, one leg lift, other leg lift. One leg lift, other leg lift. So what you should be feeling is the back of your bottom and your hamstrings in this movement. Your lower back shouldn't be bothering you. And you're strengthening your hips. Last couple of times. And then rest the legs down. Give them a little break. Okay, we're going to do one more extension back strengthening exercise. For this one, take your arms long, rest the back of the hand on the mat, and have your nose floating one more time. Lift up through the tummy again, roll your shoulders onto your back, and then float your arms up, and then turn them to face into you. Now, shoot your spine tall like a torpedo. Keep trying to roll your shoulders back. We're going to see if we can lift our arms a little bit higher, and then lift your chest and look up a little bit if you can. And then go back to nose down. And again, we're going to lift our arms, roll the shoulders back, shoot your spine tall, lift your chest a little bit. And then come back to nose down. Last one, roll the shoulders, lift the arms, lift the chest. Now, if you're feeling okay here, just press the arms up and down, reaching long with your arms as if you're trying to touch your ankles. You should feel the back of the arm a lot. You can see my left arm's bent. Your left arm's going to be beautifully straight. That's my stupid bent elbow. Last one. And then rest down. Okay, good. Let's use our hands to sit back in rest position. So press with your hands. If your joints are healthy, your knees are bent, you're sitting back on your heels. If you have a knee problem, you could put a big pillow between your ankles and your bottom if that supports you. It shouldn't be painful, so don't force it. If you can sit back on your heels, sit back on your heels, let your head rest down. Breathe a few deep breaths and try to get your back to expand. So the spine is in a rounded shape, and it's going to give you a little bit of a stretch being in this position. Now, if you walk your two hands to one side, and then so your body's in a bit of a side bend, and then take a nice deep breath into your side. And then walk your hands across the top of your mat to the other side, and take a nice deep breath into that side. Good, now come up onto your hands and knees, so you're in like an all fours position, and we're going to do a cat stretch. So just double check your wrists are under your shoulders, your knees are under your hips, okay? Sometimes people start and they're a bit like that already with their hands under their tummy. So make sure you're starting from a slightly longer spine position. And then I'm going to round my back, look down at my knees, and I'm trying to really pull my tummy in and round my lower back in this position. I'm going to come back to a flat back, and then I'm going to arch, chest forward, shoulders back slightly. And again, we're going to go through those positions, round and curl in, flatten, a little bit of an arch and chest forward, and then flatten, and one more time. So round and lengthen out. Now, come back and give your wrists a quick break, shake them out. We're going to do a front support, so a plank essentially. You can do this on your forearms if you have any wrist niggles. You can skip it out, obviously, if it's not right for this morning, or do the full version on arms if you feel happy with that, okay? So make sure you modify it to your own needs. Come back, come a bit forward on your mat so you have space. So we're going to find our deep ab support so my back is not sagging. And I'm going to step out into a plank, and I'm going to be in my plank. You can check yourself in your camera if you can, so that you've got a nice straight back. Watch that you're not either pushed into your upper back, that sometimes happens, or we sometimes kind of sag a bit in the lower back. You want to be dead straight. Keep breathing. Now, if you're feeling good here, see if you can lift and lower one leg, 4 little kicks up. Keeping your back really stable. Last side, 4 little kicks up. Keep that lower back supported, abdominals gently lifted. Good, and then we're going to come down onto our knees and give our wrists a little shake. Okay, so we're going to move on to lying on our side. So we're staying with some basic exercises today, just to focus on our sort of core and pelvis stability. So when you're lying on your side, watch that you don't lie with your back in a rounded shape, but think of the lengthened natural curves in your back, okay? I'm going to lie on my side with my arms straight. If your shoulders bothers you, obviously change and bend your arm if you need to. Bring your knees forward. Now, Just practice when you first lie down. If you sort of sag how you would naturally if you're relaxing, you'll feel your tummy hangs out and you're sort of a bit collapsed into the mat. Now, put your top hand on your pelvis, try and feel that little bone. And if you push that bone out, what you should feel is it sort of slightly lifts up your underside. If I pull my t-shirt in, you can see it a little bit more. Okay, so if I'm sagging, this top hip's hiked up. And if I push it away and lift up, now the top hip bone is directly stacked on top of the bottom one. So my pelvis is square. And this is going to be a better place to strengthen up. And I'm already using my abdominals a bit more in this position, okay? Now, basic clam, we're going to open our knee and close our knee. Now, if you look at my foot, I'm letting my foot open with my leg, like a little door hinge, okay? And if you press your heels together, like as if you're gripping a £2 coin in your heel, you will feel a little bit more action in your back hip. So here, you should start to feel this. Okay, now if you're not feeling that much, just check that you're keeping this pelvis still, because often people kind of rock the whole thing back and then you won't feel your hip as well. So really stable. Use your tummy. Remember those muscles we poked. Can you feel a little bit of support in those tummy muscles? Hold your knee open. Extra firmly press your heels together. That should set you glutes a little more switched in, and then do 4 little pulses. 1, 2, 3, 4. Close your knee, then immediately lift the whole leg so it's hovering. Now lift the leg up a bit and down a bit. Press your bottom leg into the floor as if you're trying to open both legs. Watch that you don't collapse your mouse hole. This is harder to not sag in the waist, but I'm still trying to keep my underside lifted. Now hold the leg up, press the bottom leg down, the top leg up, keep your body square, keep that underside mouse hole. You can do 4 little pulses. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to rotate my top leg so my knee is going to tap my bottom knee. I'm going to rotate out and my heel is going to tap my heel. Rotate in, rotate out. I'm still not collapsing my underside. I'm still trying to keep my pelvis still. And this is making me do a lot of work to strengthen this top hip and my core because I'm trying to keep square. That's it. Let's do 2 more times. Last one. And then rest. Okay, so simple exercises, but if you do them with good technique, you'll feel they're pretty tough and really good strength exercises. Okay, we're going to move on to our book opening. So I'm going to bend my elbow and rest my head on my arm, but equally you could fold up a towel or use a little pillow if you prefer. Reach the other arm forward. Now you're going to reach forward, let the shoulder blades slide a bit forward, lift your arm up, follow with your gaze, and then you're going to open out into your twist, and then return yourself back. Okay, we're going to do this 3 times. Reach forward, arm up, rotate, chest to ceiling, have a little stretch, and then all the way back. 1 more time, reach forward, follow the hand, enjoy a little rotation, a bit of a chest stretch, and then come back. Okay, I'm going to come up onto my elbow next and do a little side plank strengthener. I'm going to do it on my knees, but if you know the full straight leg version and that's what you usually do, go ahead and do that. So again, spare hand on my rib. If I sag, just to remember, then I'm sort of sagging in my shoulder and my side. Pull away from the floor, get your body in a diagonal line and push this arm down so you're really strong on this shoulder and side. Okay, now I'm going to push into the ground and lift my hip up into my side support. And I'm just going to hold here. This should not bother this shoulder. You're strengthening it. You're strengthening your side and you're trying to make a big space underneath your body. Hold for another moment. We're going to rest down if you need it. You could stay there if you're feeling super strong. And then we're going to do a second repetition. So push into the floor, lift your hip. Hold yourself here. Push the bottom knee down or foot down and elbow down and try and pull yourself further away. So make a bigger gap underneath you. And then you're going to gently rest your hip down. We're going to come into our mermaid stretch. So bring your heels towards your bottom, sit up, hold your shin. If your joints don't like this, knees or hips, just do a different sitting position. Take your arm up, try and glue your arm to the side of your head, lift yourself up as tall as you possibly can, and then you're going to side bend towards your feet. Take a few breaths. Try and imagine you're opening the rib on that stretching side, breathing into it. Getting a nice, well-needed stretch there. Okay, so we're going to do the whole little side sequence on the second leg. So bring yourself around to the second side. When you're lying down, remember to lie in a straightish position. So your sit bone, mid-back and back of head are in line. My knees are forward. I'm going to put my hand on my pelvis again. So if you sag and then unsag, lift, pull that hip away, find your sort of lifted up underneath side, tummy's in. And then when you're doing your clam, let's go for our clam, you're keeping that underside lift. Okay, keep pressing the heels together. Pelvis is still. Now, how wide your knee opens is going to depend on your own individual hip joint. So some people's might look more like this, really tiny clam, and some people might have a bigger range. Okay, so just go to wherever you can go to with your pelvis being stable. Okay, and then we're going to hold it open on the next one. Hold. Now, extra firmly press your heels together and do little pulses. 1, 2, 3, 4. Close the leg, lift the whole leg up. Just lift and lower the whole leg up and down. This is more side hip, you're going to notice. And again, I'm keeping my underside. So what I'm not doing is this. So this often happens in this exercise. And then it's no longer your hip because you're rocking the whole torso. It's just, we want to imagine your hips here is only the hip moving. Your spine is not moving. Hold the leg up for 4 pulses. 1, 2, 3, 4. Should be a little bit tired by now. We're going to rotate the leg in, knee touch knee, heel touch heel, knee touch knee, heel touch heel. Really get this hip moving. This leg is moving and the hip joint is moving externally, internally. Externally, the hip joint is moving around. You're getting it nice and strong. Last couple. Good, and then rest that hip. Okay, moving into our book openings, if you bend the arm you're lying on and support your head, or you could use a towel if you have one handy, other arm reaching forward, we're going to stretch forward, follow the arm, open out into your book opening, and then bring yourself back around. And again, reach forward, follow the hand, rotation, open, and then come back. One more time, reach forward, lift up, rotate, and come back. Good, now we're going to go into our side support or side plank. So you're on your elbow. Now remember, you can do the straight leg version if that's what you normally do. I'm doing the knee one. So you can collapse, we want to remember not to do that. So we're going to pull our rib away, push our forearm down. So this shoulder is very strong and all these muscles are supporting us. I'm going to push my bottom knee into the floor and lift my hip up and just see if I can hold my body weight away from the floor. This is strengthening all of those muscles around our torso and spine. So it's a very good strengthening exercise. We're going to take a break if you need it. If you feel really good, stay there. I'm going to have a little break. Okay, and then we're going to do version number 2. Lift yourself up and hold. Push your knee down, push your elbow down, keep your side lifted. Hold yourself here for a few breaths. And then you're going to lower your hip, come up to sitting, heels to bum, hold your shin, so mermaid stretch. Okay, we're going to take our arm up to the side of the head, sit up as tall as you can, get as much lift as you can. As you side bend, you want to feel as if you're opening this rib, Leaning a little bit forward feels quite nice for some people, just to get this sort of side back rib area. Breathe. And then we're going to come out of it. Okay, we're going to bring our legs around and go back to lying on our back. And we're going to go into a shoulder bridge. Now, after that, we're going to do the leg circles with the band. So if you have your band in grabbing distance, if you don't have a band, you could do this leg circle without. That's also absolutely fine. So just take a moment. Let's do a little half roll back down. So round yourself down. Take your time. Think of every opportunity to strengthen those abdominals. Now, once you're lying on your back, you want to have your feet about 1 foot length out from your sitting bone. So not too far and not right up. So kind of, 1 foot length out. Take a few breaths here lying on your back. Relax your chest. Relax your arms, be nice and heavy. Spread out your toes. Feel the floor underneath your feet. Now, we're going to just start with some pelvic tilts. Firstly, find those deep tummy muscles again, those low abdominals, like a little belt around your pelvis. You're going to gently draw them in and up as you roll your pelvis into a tilt, and then drop the tail back down to level pelvis. And again, exhale, deep abdominals, tilt, and drop down. Now just check your neck alignment here. So you're not dropping your chin down or arching your neck back. Your nose is to the ceiling. You have a natural curve in your neck, and try and keep that throughout this exercise. Now we're going to roll up through the spine on the next one. So deep tummy muscles, pelvic tilt, and then peel up through your spine until your weight is on your shoulders and you're standing into your feet. Now imagine your knees are trying to reach a little bit forward, as if you're sort of magnets pulling your knees forward, and then see if you could pull your tummy in more and lift your pubic bone up more. Okay, and then you'll feel your bottom works a lot harder. And then roll down, growing nice and tall, lengthening out until your tail is down. Oh, I've got a bit of cramp. Okay, let's go again. So rotate the pelvis, deep tummy muscles, peel up, standing onto your feet, reaching the knees, and then rolling the spine back down. Now concentrate on the feeling you get in your own back doing this. So watch that you're not skipping out any areas, especially if you know you're a bit tight in the lower back. Then we tend to want to skip out the bit that's very tight. So we tend to also want to go up with a flat back. So if you find roll-ups hard, try to, you know that lower back, we want to really loosen it up. So when you're rolling up, make sure you really try and really peel through that lower back. And you're trying to keep the tail long. So when you're in the lifted position, watch that you're not thrusting your ribs up and letting your tummy poke out. So it's not about coming really high, because then it's in your lower back. Okay, it's lower and more tummy, pubic bone. And then it should feel much nicer on your back. Okay, now we're going to do a little foot rock on the next one. This is quite hamstring intense, so if you're about to get cramp, just don't do the extra bit. So we're going to deepen our tummy, tilt the pelvis and roll up again. And again, watch, front ribs are soft, abdominals are in, pubic bone is up. Now I'm going to see if I can lift my 2 heels off the floor, pushing down and lift my toes, rock through the feet, heels, and then toes, trying to keep my hips lifted. You'll feel the back of your legs working a little bit more. Then I'm going to have my feet flat, and I'm going to just roll my spine down, feeling nice and tall. Good. Now we're going to do one last variation, which is optionally one leg in the air, so it's a bit harder. If you feel like you've got a bit of niggly lower back or hips today, I would just say repeat a plain one again. Okay, so feet down, we're going to roll up through into our lifted up position again, and just check your ribs are soft, your tummy's pulled in, your tail is long, you've got a good position. Now, press your left foot firmly into the floor and try and float up your right leg to tabletop. pause and solidly push down through that left foot, so the mat foot. You're pushing into the floor strongly. Okay, now I'm going to do 4 tap lifts with my top leg, and all the time I'm pushing very strongly into my left foot. Last one. I'm going to place my foot on the mat, and I'm going to roll down my back, have a little rest, and then I'm going to roll up and do the same on the other side. So I'm going to deepen my tummy, roll my pelvis up, stand into my right leg this time, take my leg to the tabletop, and I'm going to do 4 tap lifts, keeping this leg really solid. Then I'm going to place my foot down, and I'm going to gently roll down my back, getting a nice stretch out, all the way until my tail is down. Good. Now, we're going to do the stretch and leg circle. If you have a band, you can use a band. If you haven't, you can just do it without a band. So I'm going to put my right foot in my strap. Okay, I'm going to take my leg out long to start with, and just take a moment here to feel like you're nice and tall. Okay, so my back is against the mat, my nose is to the ceiling, and I'm feeling really nice and long in my whole body. I'm going to let that leg lift up till it's in my hamstring stretch position. Now, I quite like slackening the band, putting my elbows down in a slight diagonal, and then I can get my shoulders back and feel my upper back really well supported on the floor here. Okay, if your hips feel a little bit tight, keep the left leg bent. If they feel pretty loose and you're pretty happy here, you can straighten out that other leg. Good. Now, cast your mind back to the beginning when we did the knee circle. Okay, now it's just with a straight leg, so it's a bit harder. Keep a stable pelvis. You're going to let your leg go across, over, round, a bit out, and up. Cross, round, out, and up. I'm trying to keep the rest of my body still. Keep the pelvis still, and get a big hip circle. Hip joint circle in my right leg. Okay, we've done 6, I think, that side. Let's go in reverse. So a little bit out, round, across, and up. Out, round, across, and up. So you're getting all the muscles around that hip in all different directions of movement. Last one. Good. I'm going to bend my knee, take my other foot into the strap. And then you can either do this exercise with the right leg bent, or you can straighten it out, okay? Whichever is good. Now you're going to find a bit of abdominal support. If your right leg is straight, you're going to flex the foot and actively press it down, okay? Squaring the pelvis, chest open. I'm going to go across, round, down, and up. Moving the leg in a nice big circle, trying to maintain a stable pelvis. We want to do maybe 5 or 6, and then go the other way. I'm just trying to get a nice big movement in that hip. Good. When you've done about 6 or so each way, we're going to take the band out, and we're going to do our figure of 4 hip stretch. So there's a few versions of this. We want to keep our knees bent, and you're going to cross one leg over. So the first version would be just gently pressing out with the arm. That's one version. Another one is to take your hands behind the leg. Okay, now if you're in this version, if you feel you can, try to watch if you're really tucked with your bum up. Try and stick your bottom out into the floor, get your tailbone down, and then try and open that top knee. That will give you a stronger stretch. Now, if you still feel good, keep your tail down and try and pull your left thigh a little into you. Hold that for a breath. Good, and then bring your feet down, switch sides, okay? So the right version for you is the one that gives you a nice stretch on the back of the hip area, but doesn't bother any joints, okay? So it might be this one, or it might be this one. Okay, just hold that stretch for a few breaths. The squarer your pelvis and the more level or neutral it is, the stronger the stretch. So there, I don't get as much of a stretch. is there. Good. Now I'm going to uncross my legs and I'm just going to do a gentle little rock up. Now we're nice and warm at the end of the class. We're going to do a few more roll-ups. So if you're working on your roll-up, you can either use the band around the feet or you can do the half roll back again. If you're fully rolling up and that's the exercise you normally do, go ahead and do some full roll-ups. And we're just going to do 4 more times, breathing out and rounding, rolling up and down through the spine. So keep moving and breathing. Reach up and stretch towards your toes. Now you're nice and warm at the end of the class, you can sort of try and reach forward between repetitions and see if you can have a little stretch forward and touch your toes each time. Let's make this the last one. I think that's about 4 and come up. Okay, let's do just one more upper body strength before we come to standing. So just a tricep push-up. So again, do the version that's right for you. You could do this against a wall. You can do this in a box position. I'm going to do it in a box position, or a full plank if you're strong. So remember, in Pilates, we try to do tricep push-ups. So the elbows are coming narrow to the side of the ribs as opposed to out. Okay, so spread your fingertips out. Shift your weight over your arms, so you're not back doing it like that. That's really easy. Come right over your arms, so your shoulders are over your wrists and you have weight in your arms, okay? Now, lift the tummy, keep the spine long, and you're just going to slowly bend your elbows and lower your chest halfway down to the floor, and then push back up. Okay, so I'm not sagging in my back. I'm trying to lower my body weight up and down, keeping my elbows narrow and my chest forward over my arms. Okay, you should be able to get a good level of challenge and adjust to a harder level if you're starting to find it easy. Okay. Good. When you've done a set and you're happy with that set, give your wrists a little shake. We're going to do our plank walk to our feet ending that I often do in Zoom. If this is not right for you today, just leave it out and meet us standing up. Okay. If you're okay, come onto your hands and knees. You're going to step your legs out into a plank position. Hold yourself here for a few more breaths. And then we're going to lift our hips up into what in Pilates world this is called up stretch. And in yoga world, it's downward dog. Okay. Now, hips to the ceiling, and then I'm going to bend my knee one by one and give myself a good stretch. Keep trying to stick your sit bones up in the air. Shoulders are wide on my back. Back is straight. Now, I'm going to walk my hands and feet towards each other, and you can bend your knees as much as you need to. So you might have very bent legs, or if you're very bendy, maybe not at all. Have a little forward stretch here. I quite like holding my elbows, letting my head have a little shake. You could bend your knees a bit more, bend your knees a bit less. We're going to bring ourselves to standing. So I'm going to lift through my tummy and I'm going to just roll myself up to standing up. Okay, and then we're going to just find a place in your room where you can stand and you have a little bit of space. And we're going to just do some rises up and down. So feet apart, spread out your toes, stand up nice and tall. Okay, now balloon on the head, a bit of lift through your waistline, and you're just going to rise up. And then nice and controlled, lower down with control. Stand tall, rise up. And down. Now this lower leg strength and foot strength is a really, really simple thing you can do at home. And it's really important to keep our feet and ankles strong for our balance and for walking well and moving well in our life. Okay, you want to watch the ankles aren't doing a little wobbly out, but you're keeping your big toes pressed down and you're able to control this. Let's do one more. Now keep the heels down, cross your hands over, so you're trying to just get them out of the way. Stand tall. Imagine you've got a pile of library books on your head, and you're just going to try and lift one leg and balance on one leg. Try and keep yourself balanced. Place that foot down, and then lift up the other leg. Hold yourself there for a little balance, and then down. Do it one more time on each leg. If you feel really confident, you can also try balancing with your eyes closed. That's more advanced. And last one. And then come down. Good. And then just take a nice little stretch up to the ceiling. Lovely big breath in, and relax the arms all the way down and out. And well done, you're finished. You can go and enjoy your day. I'm going to press stop on my recording.